Did you know rates of eczema have nearly tripled over the last 30 years? That could be because of our diet, because of our environment, and because of antibiotics, different drugs that we're taking. So we've got Dr. Anna Maria Temple here. On social media, you'll recognize her as the Eczema Lady for 5 different ways to naturally heal our eczema symptoms. How are you?
Great, I'm so excited to be here.
I mean, 30%, that's so startling.
30%. I mean, our rates of C-sections have gone up. The rates of antibiotic use in our animals that we're eating, so in our food, in our water, the antibiotics that we're taking, increased use of Tylenol, anti-reflux medicines, and we can't forget rise of stress.
Yes.
And our nutrition, our food sources have just become polluted by chemicals.
And so often we are not treated by lifestyle medicine doctors, and instead they just say, here's a pill, take this, here's a steroid, here's a cream. You know, those are all great and necessary in some situations, but it's a lot better to try to heal it naturally, yeah?
Yeah, and the biggest misconception is that eczema is a lotion deficiency. So our parents are spending $4,000 a year on topical products alone. An eczema mama has a closet full that rivals Sephora.
Yes, and you're like, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried this, I've tried that. So first, let's talk about reducing added sugars in our diet. They can be tough to spot. I'm taking a look here at some of the items that you brought in, and let's just start with juice, because that one is kind of the craziest one to me, seeing how much sugar is inside our juice.
So juice is thought of as a natural sugar, but what happens is when we do juice, we take out the sugar and the fructose, and we take away the fiber and minerals. So what we're left is sugar and fructose, and then we're just drinking it. And nobody sits and drinks 6 oranges at one time. So just a little bottle of orange juice is between 6 and 8 oranges.
Wow, we'd be a lot better off if we just ate 1 or 2 oranges, wouldn't we, with all the fiber and fills us up and
you get your electrolytes, because you know what, everybody's like, oh, I need electrolytes. Yeah, oranges and apples actually have natural electrolytes.
Natural electrolytes. Sports drinks have electrolytes as well, but take a look at this sports drink and how much sugar is in there. I mean, it's just baffling.
On top of food coloring and preservatives, which have been shown over and over to cause increased symptoms of eczema.
Yes, okay, and the Coca-Cola Classic, which probably all soft drinks are about created equal. We're not singling out this one necessarily. That one's more expected, I guess. But what about these? These items are definitely marketed to our children. And what's the matter with these?
If you can believe that this used to be my children's lunch boxes, and 2 of my children had eczema. The issue with the Uncrustables is that it's tons of preservatives, food colorings, and tons of added sugar. The human body can only process 24 grams of added sugar, or 6 packets of sugar a day. 1 Uncrustable is already half your daily quota.
Goodness gracious. Okay, let's continue with food. And gluten and dairy can be inflammatory for a lot of people. How do we cut these out without losing the nutrients, right? Because dairy in particular, we think about the calcium, the protein that we want our children to have.
So many foods, it's a big misnomer that you have to have dairy in order to have calcium and good fats. We can do coconut milk, we certainly can do some nut milks, we can do avocado, we can do salmon, we can do tuna, sardines. I mean, there's so many foods that have natural fats and great calories. And if you don't do gluten, there's so many other grains that we can do that are gluten-free.
Right. And how important is it to, take these out of our diet, in short little increments, so we can realize what it is that's actually triggering the eczema, triggering that reaction?
So a person should take out a food. So let's say the culprit that we suspect is dairy. We're going to take dairy out, and that's not just milk, but that's cheese and butter and ice cream and yogurt and cottage. I know. And so we take it out of our diet for 30 days.
Okay.
And then we see what the symptoms are, and then we bring it back.
Yes.
For my nursing mamas, they take it out of their diet, but it takes about 2 weeks for a product to get out of breast milk.
Okay.
So we take it out, and then when we reintroduce it to the baby, not the mama, because that confuses the situation.
Right, yes, that can all get very convoluted, and breastfeeding can be so stressful for so many moms, especially if you have a baby or an infant that is really struggling with eczema too.
Totally.
And that's when it's most common, right? Is 6
Yes,
months?
between 3 and 6 months is the most common time of onset of eczema, and a lot of people just kind of blow it off, don't worry about it, they're going to outgrow it. 20% of kids grow to have eczema in adulthood.
Okay, next up, we're going to try to really replenish our micronutrients. Vitamin D, how important is that?
Vitamin D, which comes from the sun, by the way, that's free,
Yes.
everyone. But now
It's
we've
free,
become
it's for me.
free, and we've become indoor creatures. And so, vitamin D, zinc, and omega-3s are critical nutrients to help our cells be plump, juicy, and reduce the symptoms of eczema.
Okay, very good. Next up, rebalance the skin and our gut microbiome. You have a natural spray that we can use. Is that something we make ourselves or buy over the counter?
Yeah, so I was hoping that we can plug this thing in because it's a fun chemical experiment, but a common recommendation by dermatologists is to do bleach baths onto children who have eczema.
That sounds horrendous. What does that mean?
We don't do bleach on children. And so the point of that is to decrease Staph aureus. 90% of children who have eczema are over-colonized with Staph aureus. But instead of bleach, let's use hypochlorous acid. Hypochlorous acid is force of nature, active skin repair, and you spray the children down, which decreases the colonization of Staph aureus naturally.
Yes.
But then we have to replenish the good bacteria with a probiotic. Probiotics, we take them from the inside, and we know we have to heal the skin from within.
Right.
So by taking the probiotics, it helps rebalance the gut and the skin with the good guys.
So again, heal the skin from within rather than from the outside with something topical. That's so backwards for a lot of us, isn't it?
It is. It's like mind-blowing. They're like, wait, what?
Yeah, heal the skin from within. It's not a lotion deficiency. I'm learning something new as well. Finally, we need to try to relieve stress in our lives, which this one is easier said than done. So how do we do that? New moms especially, it's so stressful.
We are going to do, I mean, it's probably the biggest under-recognized toxin that everyone sweeps under the rug, and they're like, it's not that big of a deal.
I'm fine, I'll be
I'm
fine.
good, I'm not that stressed. So on your handy-dandy phone, there's 2 apps that you can try. My favorite is the Tapping Solution app that actually helps you and your child decrease your stress in a 5-minute session. Or we have the Insight Timer, another app that is free that can help you zone in on calm and peace and reduce cortisol. And by reducing cortisol, we're going to relieve symptoms of eczema.
Right. And aside from just eczema symptoms being relieved, we're just going to feel a lot better in a lot of other areas of our life as well. Before we go, as the seasons are changing, kids are heading back to school, perhaps, you know, little Johnny's not at home with mommy as much anymore. What do parents need to be on the lookout for as the seasons change into fall as far as eczema goes?
So when it comes to fall, we have ragweed and mold that are going to come up, especially towards the end of August, beginning of September. Not to mention that the children are going to school and they're going to come in contact with a lot of viruses.
Yes.
All these are known triggers for children who have eczema. Eczema is inflammation from the inside, and when we add ragweed, mold, viruses, stress from school, it overflows the cup of inflammation and eczema flares.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for all of your help today. I mean, so many light bulb moments here. Really appreciate it. This is the Eczema Lady. Again, Dr. Anna Maria Temple. You can find her on Instagram. She's got lots of courses. She has books. You name it. She is a real winner. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Your Day with Anna Koyman so you get notified when we release our next video. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye.